Hello, welcome. My name is Steven, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to talk about the circle of fifths and how I use it, how I think you could use it, and some common things to do with it. And I think this tool is great. I think it can cover about 80% of everything you ever need to know about music theory. A lot of people will talk about they don't want to learn music theory, or they don't know any music theory, or it's just too complicated, or they don't want to limit their creativeness or whatever. And that's just, I feel like those are all excuses that we can put to the side. And just if we just go over something simple like the circle of fifths, that'll cover a lot of the ground that we need to cover to take us through a lot of keys, how to resolve things into another keys, make another transition, so on and so forth. So let's get into it. This, as you see on the screen, is the circle of fifths. It's got all 12 notes, starting at C at the very top. If you go to the right, it'll be the order of sharps, and to the left will be the order of flats as we add or take away flats from keys. Also, the circle of fifths will tell you all the keys within all the chords within a certain key. It'll tell you the fourth, the fifth, the second, third, the relative minor, and then it doesn't exactly tell you the seventh chord, but that's a very rare chord to use in a key anyway. Most classical music will probably use that. Contemporary stuff is going to shy away from that anyway. Another great thing you can use with the circle of fifths is you can quickly transpose from concert pitch to key to the keys of a pitched instrument, and we'll go over that in a minute. I said 80%, 90%, whatever, some number. It'll cover the majority of everything you need to know to help you get through songs and understand why songs are built certain ways, why certain chords are in there, and if you see a chord outside of the key, why would the songwriter possibly put that outside of the key or the barred chord into the song, and what's the function of it? So, like I said earlier, if you're going to clockwise, it's notes by fifths. So what that means is in the key of C at the very top, if you go C, D, E, F, G, G is the fifth note in that scale, so G is the fifth of C, and so on and so forth. So in the key of G, which is to the right of it, the fifth of G is D. And the importance of the fifth is fifths resolve very nicely into the root chord. So a G, if you're playing a G chord and you're in the key of C, the next chord you probably want to play if you want to resolve something, or if there's been some tension build up and you want to resolve everything and sound very nice and like we're finally over or something, C is the perfect chord to resolve into. So on and so forth. So we have, and also as we go around, this is the order of flats. So if you're in the key of G, there's one flat in, I'm sorry, sharps. So if you're in the key of G, you know that you have one sharp in the key, and that sharp starts right here at F. Right here at F. And then D has two, so there's F and C. And same goes for the other way, notes by fourths or the order of flats. I grew up playing trumpet and French horn, and this is how I learned all of my accidentals. I learned, okay, if the key signature has one flat, it's the key of F. If it have two, it's the key of B flat, so on and so forth. And this is the notes by fourths. Again, just like the concept of the fifths, the fourth, F is the fourth note in the key of C, so it's the fourth of C. And fourths are great chords that lead into fifths, and fifths are great chords that go back to the root. Here I've spelled it out. Order of sharps starts at F, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And order of flats is the same thing, just backwards. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. So in this example, we have the key of C, and its relative minor is A minor. And the fourths and fifths are adjacent to it. Fifth is to its on this wheel to the right, and the fourth is to the left. And you'll also see that the relative minor of those two respective of the fourth and fifth is also your second and third chord. So C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor. Every chord you need in that key is right here. And here's B minor hanging out here, but technically it's a B, like a B diminished or something. You don't have to pay attention to that. It's important. You need to know it, but you're probably never going to use it. So, yeah, the G major, E minor notes, E, G, A, B, D, F minor, F major, and D minor are D, F, G, A, C. So they fit nicely within the key of C. All checks out. So when I said earlier, you could use the circle of fifths to help transpose instruments. There are instruments. If you don't know, if you're a string player, this is probably gonna be news to you. You may not ever use it, but someone who's in like a music theory class or been playing like a pitched instrument, who's been playing a trumpet or clarinet or saxophone or whatever, they're very familiar with transpositions. Some of you probably play flute or piano or trombone, and you know if you're told the key is the key. Well, in trumpet world, for example, you know the key of C is not the same as the key of C on a piano. It's going to be different. They're different notes, and we'll figure that out in a second. So all the concert pitch instruments, I'm going to put them at the top right here in the key of C. French horns naturally in the key of F. Trumpet and clarinet are naturally in the key of B flat. Saxophone is an outlier. It lives in E flat, which here in a second we'll talk about. And I will demonstrate here with I'll have to rotate this, but I want you to see exactly what we're doing. So we'll take our wheel of concert pitches, and the green box is going to be the starting note of that instrument. So for example, the key of C in concert pitch starts at C. So your trombones, if someone says concert C, you know it's going to start at C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. But for French horn, the key of C, the starting note is going to be G. So you know it's G, A, B, C, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. That's your notes in that scale. And for trumpet in the key of C, your starting note's D, because you know B flat is a half step away from C. So your starting note being B flat being a whole step away from C makes sense that your starting note is a whole step away from the concert pitch. And then saxophone or other instruments in E flat, if it's concert C, your starting note's going to be A, and it's going to be your A scale, so on and so forth. And that's how you would use this wheel to very quickly transpose stuff. And I know my wife, she's a music major, she's a band director at a local school here, and I talked to her about using this wheel, and it's some of this stuff just kind of goes right over her head. She's been doing it a certain way her whole life, and for her, when I talk about, you just move the wheel, it's not that she can't comprehend it. She doesn't immediately think of that. She thinks of, French horn is it's a fifth away. The starting note's a fifth away from the concert key, so blah, blah, blah. And she thinks in trumpet's just a whole step away from the concert key, and the saxophone is a minor third away, and so on and so forth. So she's not actively thinking of spinning the wheel, where I don't have a music degree or anything, and I know I had to do transpositions growing up, but I never used the wheel. I didn't start using this wheel until I started playing guitar, and this has been a great tool to look at, because it just very clearly tells you how everything goes. It's like a roadmap. It's like a music roadmap. You know, if I'm going on a trip somewhere, I want a roadmap to tell me where to go. And people that talk about they don't want to learn music theory, well, I translate that to, you don't want a roadmap to tell you what to do or how to get anywhere. You just want to fiddle around and stumble on things and never really get anywhere, never be productive. And this wheel, it very clearly tells you what to do. It tells you G's are going to resolve into C's very nicely, and the relative minor is A minor or E minor in the key of G. Also, the violin and the guitar, because like I said, I just recently started getting back into guitar. It's been a few years now. But your violin, the strings are G, D, A, E. They're fifths away from each other. And the guitar is B, E, A, D, G, C. It should be C, but it's not. Everybody that plays guitar knows it's B. Or your guitar strings start at E, I'm sorry. E, A, D, G. And it should be B next. But because of ergonomics, it was tuned down a half step to B. And then the first string is E at the very top. So, I mean, if you didn't know that, it spells it out right here. So, I just wanted to make this video to talk about the circle of fifths, how you can use it, if you're a music major, maybe you can use this knowledge, and on your next theory test, if you have to transpose anything for an instrument, you can quickly know, okay, well, I spin this wheel, put it on here, this is the starting note, boom, I'm in business. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please leave a like, comment, tell me what you'd like to see next. If you liked this video, if you hated this video, whatnot, leave me subscribe if you enjoyed the content and want to see more of this.